she'll be there forever. You know what I mean? When that day comes.
You know, when Dave built
Thank
that
you.
house, he built her
1
her own
minute.
room.
I'll go into that.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
I'll have to look more into it. Where is it?
It's in Cassopolis.
Okay.
My man was 82, but he quit working. He stopped. And he couldn't afford clothes anymore.
Yeah.
It was over.
Well,
No.
you know, and that's what I hate to see about my mom. She's always been active. She's always been active.
All right, you guys ready?
And for the last week, she's been in his bed.
Thank you for everybody attending. This is a special meeting of the Buchanan City Commission, Friday, September 6, 2024. It's a interview process for candidates, commission seat that we currently have open. Can everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can I have roll call, please?
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Present.
Swem.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Very good. We will take public comments on agenda items only. Please keep your time limit to 3 minutes and state your name for the record. Okay. Seeing no public comment.
I had one correspondence.
Okay, that's right. I'm sorry.
You're
Callie,
fine.
you did tell me that.
Susan and Robert Damon expressed support for Scott King.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, at this time, we will interview the candidates for the open commission seat. The city commission will be conducting interviews for the 2-year city commission term with applicants. Each applicant will have 15-minute slot for a Q&A session with the city commission. The first interview will be Tony Hauser. Please approach the table and we will ask you the questions that we have before us. All right, first of all, Tony, thank you so much. First question. The City Commission is in search of a leader who can effectively guide our community with exceptional leadership skills. Please provide a specific example from the past year that demonstrates your ability to go above and beyond providing outstanding leadership.
Well, in the last year would be, to go above and beyond. It's just pretty much every day is get up and do what we need to do. I'm involved in a lot in this town. I do volunteer work as much as I can. And to lead would be every day I get up, I go to work with a smile on my face. I deal with my crew that I have, and we keep the restaurant going, and we keep going from there. In the last year would be, I'm the vice president of the Lions Club, and we've taken on different things, projects getting done, like the Nut and Candy Drive and the Easter egg hunts and stuff like that. So, and then as well as keeping the financials together for the Lions Club as well.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Swim?
Sorry, I'm making some notes.
Okay.
So not every decision yields the desired results. Share with us a time in the past years that when a project that you were involved in didn't meet your expectations and what you gained from that.
The biggest project that didn't meet my expectations, for the most part, would be pretty much, to think back, would be something working with, let's say, Lift Buchanan, to where we were working on a project and we were driving towards something I believed wasn't the way we should go. And I sat and I listened and I took into heat everything that everybody else had to say. And at that point, we all decided as a board to go the direction I didn't want to go. But at that point, what I took is sometimes you don't always get what you want. And when it is all taken care of and everything's moving forward, you have to look to what you have in front of you and continue to move forward and figure out how to make it work from there. You know, the best and easiest and the best way to do it.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Money?
Yeah, thanks for being here, Tony. We appreciate it. I'm going to ask you to outline your personal approach for evaluating conflicting perspectives and reaching a well-considered decision.
Okay, looking for, can you repeat that one more time for me?
Your personal approach for evaluating conflicting perspectives.
Gotcha. First, you have to sit back and listen to the whole story. It's just sit back and listen, and then go from there, and then make the decisions which are best based for the citizens, not just your personal opinion. I'm not just weighing what I think here. I'm weighing what the people behind me, the citizens that are of the city of Buchanan, need and the best fits for them. So you have to sit, you have to listen, and then you have to deliberate in your head about it and figure out and discuss and listen to other people's opinions. It can't be just about your opinion. You have to listen to other people's opinions. And then if what you came to, if where you were at the beginning of that conversation is different, then good. You know, because you took the chance to change and listen to other people and make that decision. So to go with it is the best way to do it is just to listen and continue to move forward and deliberate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Mr. Bianski?
How do you plan to ensure that you accurately represent the interest of all your constituents?
By talking to people, being out, being present, speaking to everybody, listening to every email that comes by, whether it's negative or not, you know, every phone call, you may not get to it right then, but you get back to it, you know, and just being present at that point. You have to be involved. You can't just sit around and do nothing and expect people to be able to do what everybody else wants you to do. But what's best for them if you're not out there talking to them and you're not out there listening and not being involved is the best you can.
Very good. Tony, is there any other statements or questions that you had for us? I'm going to do this for each candidate. It wasn't scheduled in the process. Cal, I hope that's all right.
That's fine.
But I think it gives us an opportunity for the candidates to express something that maybe wasn't within the scope of the 4 questions, but maybe a couple minutes about, you know, what your expectations are as a commissioner if you were to be chosen as a candidate.
Mm-hmm. So you want me to ask you, so let's go from here. If whoever's chosen, what are your expectations? Is that a good question? Like, what are you guys looking for to fulfill that spot? And yeah, basically, what are you guys looking for? Who do you want to work with? But not who do you want to work with, but what best attributes and characteristics of a person puts them in a good spot to be
Yeah,
commissioner?
I wasn't expecting a Q&A out of us.
Hey, I prepared all of this stuff, and it's just sitting right here. So.
I was looking more for you to give us your stump platform on why you should be a choice, because everybody gave us a nice, for all those in the audience, you know, we're not going to read everybody's resume word by word. I think they're available, but you know, I'm looking for somebody that's willing to work together with a group, to be specific. We're not always going to agree, as we all know, but somebody that's willing to continue to move forward, keep the ship straight, respond, be active. That's what I'm looking for. I do have some follow-up questions for you, but we'll circle back to those after you give us your stump or your other questions for them.
Any answers to that? Anybody?
I think I best not.
Okay. Very good.
Well, I think actually we're all looking for basically the same thing. You know, we're looking for a person that's going to be cohesive. We're looking for a person that's basically carries their own opinion, much like Mr. Bianski does, and that we can listen to that, evaluate. Yeah, those are the kind of things. But being able to work together, for the betterment of the town and the city folks is what we're trying to do. I feel that's what we're trying to do. I think we've come in the right direction. So,
I do have something to add to that.
Okay.
Ever since I started working, and always when I was a boss, 90% is dependability. If you show up, that means you're at least willing to come to work. Now, as a boss, it's up to me to whether I train you so that you do the job when you're there. I'm not your boss here. I won't be your boss, but I'm your co-worker. So it's up to me to train you, because there is a 6-month curve in this job, no matter how good or how smart you think you are. So it's all about dependability.
Very good. Tony, one final thing, is there some statements or something that is, to Patrick's point, your stumping point opportunity for us to hear from you, and and I'll give each candidate the same opportunity to express why they believe that they would be the best choice for the city commission?
For sure, I'd like to speak to Dan's dependability. And like, for all of you guys if you guys don't know this, you guys, I've come to every meeting for the last 4 years. I've been here. I've missed a total of 4 meetings in 4 years. I don't have to show up, I do. I am the vice president of the Preservation Society. I'm the vice president of the Planning Commission. I'm a second vice president in the Lions Club, as well as I'm on the board for our senior center. So if dependability is something you're looking for, showing up every day and being dependable, I think that has a lot to say. And that's just about it, just showing that I'm out there. I'm out here every day. I'm volunteering. I'm doing what can. I have a full-time job that I spend a ton of hours on, but I always find time to do the research. I find time to do everything that I need to do to make sure that I'm the most informed person when I'm sitting here. I want to make sure that every decision that I'm going to make is informed to the fullest with the right amount of research. Actually, there is no right amount of research. You just got to keep researching, and just from there, dependability is a good way to say you just have to show up. And if that's one of the key things, then that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years. I've been here every day, every Monday, when it started with volunteering for being on boards or just coming to meetings that are here for community development. I'm here. Riverwalk, you name it, I'm here. And if I can't be, I'm sitting at home watching the videos. I was a year and a half ago, I had spoke up about the CIA and the DDA, and it was just to show the amount of research that I did and sent off. I take that with every decision. That's how I do it. I may not send that stuff off to everybody, but I've got files and files and files at home of just everything that I do, to make sure that we're on the up and up. My wife will attest to the fact that since we've been here, I eat, sleep, and live Buchanan, and she's still trying to figure out why. So.
Well, I think if you look around the room, I think we know
We
why.
see it, yeah.
I think the people are the answer.
The people here
right?
are great. The
Absolutely.
outpouring is great.
Gentlemen, any other questions?
Yeah,
for Tony?
I had a couple follow-up questions for you, Tony. So you mentioned the Lions Club involvement specifically. So that's been an organization that's been around a long time, pretty well set in stone, on how they get things done. So on those specific things, the Nut and Candy Drive Easter egg and the financials, can you dive into a little deeper what your involvement is in that?
So I'm on the board when it comes to the financials. We do all the breakdown on the financials. We go through. I'm newer on the board, so and then as far as like the Nut and Candy and just everything, I'm there. We help plan. We help do the budget. We help find the money, the facilities, and make sure all that's done.
Mm-hmm.
For the financial end of it, like I said, we have our board meetings every month, and we go down, we look at our endowments, we look at where we're at and how much money we have, and we just did our budget. We just built our budget based off what we had last year and what we think we're going to put into it this year, and our loss of funds that we're going to get through some different things that are falling through. So we have to figure out how to come up with some new funds, and to kind of go go on to not just the Lions Club, but it's like everything. Anyways, I'll just stop there for now. Sorry, I'm getting jumbled up.
All right. And then my only other question was, you used the Live Buchanan example for when something didn't meet your expectations. But I noticed in your resume, you listed you're only on that board for 1 year. Was that related? Was your leaving that organization related to that disagreement, or I
No.
don't need the specific disagreement.
No, 100%, not. I was offered the position on the senior center board, and at that time for me, I felt that I would do more good with the senior center board, and go through there, and I was able to where I could put my energies, in my time, just worked better there. So I still hold Live Buchanan in the highest regards, and I would help if they whenever they need it. So.
Very good.
Thank you.
And I want to apologize to Patrick, just for everybody's knowledge. When you do hundreds of interviews, as I have over the years, and leading teams of different sizes and varying degrees, I always felt it necessary to, they're not only interviewing us, we're interviewing them, right? And a lot of companies forget that there's a two-way street when you're doing an interview. So that was the whole purpose of that dialogue there. So thank you for entertaining that.
You're good.
You're good.
I have no other questions.
Any more? Mr. Bianski, you good? Okay, I'm all good.
I'm good.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Tony.
Tony.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tony.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
appreciate your interest too.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
So, Scott,
Good evening.
How was the
Scott.
commission this tonight?
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
All right, Mr. King, we have a few questions. Each of us are going to take an opportunity to ask those questions.
Look forward to it.
Very good. The Buchanan City Commission is in search of a leader who can effectively guide our community with exceptional leadership skills. Please provide a specific example from the past year that demonstrates your ability to go above and beyond in providing outstanding leadership.
Well, I put my name forth when there was a successful recall, so I could bring the experience from my past to help make decisions for the betterment for the people. I spent hundreds of hours out walking and talking to the citizens at their doors and learning their concerns and hearing their concerns and issues. Talked about different issues because we all want the community to be as good as it can be. We also need to watch the debt and the tax issue as the economy overall is hurting a lot of families. And a lot of that starts with the civil discussions on the commission and in front of the public. And we also need to look at, when we look at projects, can we maintain them down the road so we don't pass problems on to future commissions? So a lot of that comes down at budgeting, working well with the city manager, which I had done in the past, is a group working together and all being civil to each other and to the public.
Wonderful. Very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Swin?
I have the next one. So not every decision yields the desired results. So share with us a time within the past years when a project you were involved in did not meet your expectations, and what did you gain from that experience?
Well, I would say the most disappointing that I've been involved with was the ad hoc committee on the creek and the mill race. You know, it had been the project had been talked about since 1942, and we couldn't find consensus. And we got the mill people and the fishermen and everybody else together. We got the city manager at the time out of the way. We sat down, we had unit by unit discussions. And I think almost every vote on that ad hoc committee was a 7-0 vote because we looked for consensus, we were civil to each other, and we worked tirelessly to get the project done. And we even offered finance alternatives. And when the city commission did away with the ad hoc committee, they didn't follow almost, I would say 90% of the recommended recommendations that the ad hoc committee had came. Nobody was happy with, because they went back to what was not acceptable. And I think almost everybody on that ad hoc committee will tell you, they walked away in disgust because we had 7-0 votes, and you all know that getting 7-0 votes is hard to do. But almost every vote we had, Doyle Vergon was on that committee, and Tom Feldner was on that committee. And they'll tell you that we had, unanimity. Everybody liked the project that we had looked at. And that was the most, that it didn't get done the way the ad hoc committee, but in life that's, it don't work out, but what we had planned was in the best interest for everybody.
Very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Money?
Yeah, thanks for being here, Scott. We appreciate it. I'm gonna ask you to outline your personal approach for evaluating conflicting perspectives and reaching a well-considered decision.
Well, my grandfather used to tell me that God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I should listen twice as much as I talk. I know sometimes because the day was only given 24 hours in it, and I do have a busy life, that I don't sit around and watch Facebook and do a bunch of stuff on that. But the thing is listening to the people, because we have an awful lot of good, educated people, retirees especially, in this community, that we can gain a lot of perspective. And I've got 2 main rules that I use when I'm making a decision. Is it good for Buchanan, and is there a better way to do it? That keeps you out of any personality clashes. That keeps you on looking at the problem as a specific laser-focused issue. And if you can answer, is there a better way to do it, then you've, and working with the city manager, it's a team approach, and trying to find consistency and working, because you get a lot of 3-2 votes up on the commission. But you have to be civil to everybody else and keep the communications lines open.
Very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Viancy?
Hello, Scott. How do you plan to ensure that you accurately represent the interests of all your constituents?
First thing is listening to anybody and letting them talk, because you're not going to agree with everybody, but you've got to listen and keep the communications lines open to them. 2, I would say that as long as there's a 2-way discussion, you can modify sometimes to do decision-making better, to include a lot of good points for most of your people.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Scott, and I did this on the previous interview, and allow you to, if you have any questions for us that you would like us to answer, or if you have a final statement that you would like to.
I'm just gonna say that 25 years ago, I was Mayor Pro Tem, I was City Commissioner, I sat on DDA TIF. I think I put that in the paperwork of all the boards that I used to sit on. We used to do a lot with private fundraising. I worked on like Riverfront Park. That picnic shelter down there was the result of 3 years of going out and talking to stars everywhere from Cher to basketball players, baseball players, singers, everybody. And we had hundreds of signed records, and during the Labor Day Festival, we had a auctioneer that would come in, volunteer, auction it off, and over a 3-year period, we raised enough money and gave it to the Parks Board to put that concrete apron in, and which is the picnic shelter down there, and the city workers put it in because we knew we were just working on the heights, getting that totally redone in streets and curbs and gutters. And we knew that all monies were going to make sure we got the project done that hadn't been done since the 1920s. We knew there wasn't going to be much money left over, so we were trying to expand the assets to help the people. in different areas, both privately. So that is something that we can do still to help the people.
Very good. Gentlemen, any other questions?
I have one question for you, Scott. So activism in the community is important to me in my decision on this person, this individual. So I noticed in your past you were quite active in the 90s, but since 98, there's one 2014 excerpt here, but you know, I don't see anything that captures that time. What have you been doing within the community during that phase?
I would say I'm always active in talking to people. The mill race and the creek, and you know, and I would say that you sometimes come out and come back into a city. You learn things like with business. I would say my knowledge on legal affairs is much better now, which I can help if, let's say, we have a legal issue. I won't say I'm a lawyer, but asking good questions when you got a lawyer in front of you or can help, and I think I bring that to the table with my background, running different management departments for major companies in the United States and running a small import-export business. I bring world experience to the decision-making, and I bring good questions or seeing if there's alternatives to issues. No, I really haven't been that active on a lot of the boards because Lisa died of a heart attack. My brother was killed by a drunk driver, and you learn that 1, 3, or 5 year planning doesn't make any. You may have 1, 3, 5 minutes to be on this earth. Yeah. So I've been traveling. I've been doing special projects for friends of mine, but I think I bring a very solid list of experiences and knowledge that will help make decisions good for the citizens of Buchanan as a team.
Very good. Any other questions, gentlemen? Okay.
Thank you.
Scott, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
He's taller, I remember. Maybe I'm shorter.
I was going to let you say that.
Callie, you want to tell Scott he doesn't have to sit out there by himself?
Yeah, I was just saying.
Very good. Welcome, Ms. George. I appreciate your time. We'll okay, very good. The first question, we'll each take an opportunity to ask you questions today. The Buchanan City Commission is in search of a leader who can effectively guide our community with exceptional leadership skills. Please provide a specific example for the past year that demonstrates your ability to go above and beyond in providing outstanding leadership.
I'm an office manager at Farm Bureau in Niles, and there was a situation where this car was, it had fallen off the policy, and I had to kind of like navigate through all of these different ways how that happened. And I was getting with my boss and stuff, and there was like no reason or narrative why that happened or how that happened. And so I had to take extensive leadership role and just carry that across and get the situation fixed. So I ended up fixing the situation, making the customer happy, and making my boss less stressful.
Very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Swim?
Not every decision yields the desired results. Share time within the past year when a project you were involved in did not meet your expectations and what you gained from that experience.
I was taking a test and I needed to pass it to further my insurance career, and I just, it was such a hard journey, and so every single time that it didn't go my way, I went in and kept on studying harder, making that just every single step with more and more annoyance came harder work. So
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Money?
Hey Raquel, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All right. What I'm going to ask of you is to outline your personal approach for evaluating conflicted perspectives and reaching a well-considered decision.
I was hoping a question like this was gonna come. I think it is very important to look at all of the different opinions and approaches that people take. But one thing I feel so strongly about, you never belittle somebody for what they believe or what they think, because who's to say that ours is always the best? I think that we should take the time to understand and listen to everybody's personal opinions, but come to a conclusion that maybe to agree but disagree, but always do what you really feel is truly right.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bianski?
How do you plan to ensure that you accurately represent all your constituents?
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
How do you plan to ensure that you accurately represent the interests of all your constituents?
I definitely think hearing them out and going from there. And I also think listening to your team too, and just trying to understand what it is that they want to accomplish and making everything based off of that.
Very good. At this point, give you an opportunity if you have any questions for the commissions, or if you don't, is there a final statement that you would like to make in reference to why you believe you would be a good fit for this commission?
I just want to let everybody know how much I love Buchanan. I truly want to see it do well, and I want to see it thrive in the years and decades, centuries to come. I want it to be something where depending on where my life goes, not really sure right now, but somewhere I can bring my kids and raise them, because Buchanan's the best town. Everybody knows this, right? But I just want to see the best for Buchanan, regardless of who it is that helps that become the reality.
Very good. Thank you. Gentlemen, any other questions?
Yeah, so coming from a place of familiarity on being a younger individual that has a challenge of facing, not being in a workforce like many of your, I'll call them opponents for lack of a better phrase for this position, how do you plan to overcome that challenge in this role?
I read in the Bible, I know that's kind of controversial, but the younger learn from the older, and how are we supposed to, the younger, it can be very right now, very scary, because you're like, what is gonna happen, what's going on, you know, how am I gonna learn this? It's a lot to learn, it's just a lot. But, I feel like if we're not ready to learn as the younger generation, we're never gonna know how to do it when we come apart of, when we get old enough to be in that spot, because the older people aren't always gonna be here. So I feel like it's very important to learn from the younger, or from the older.
Her resume was the shortest because she's the youngest. I gotta be very careful when I go here.
Yeah.
But what I would like to know, you have a work history,
Yes.
and you didn't put any of that on your resume, and everybody else had all kinds of stuff as to what they did for the city. But I would like to hear from you what you've done with your life, whether it has anything to do with the city or not. Tell us what your, what your skills are, what you've done, the test you took, you're selling insurance, so just explain that to us.
Yes. So I worked at McDonald's for 4 years. I was one of the youngest managers in the 30 stores that the owners had owned. That seems like such a little job. It's just McDonald's, but what can I tell you firsthand? It was crazy. Just like the things and like even the moral stances of some people just that worked there. It was very hard, very, if your morals were not set, it could definitely go south. But I did that for 4 years. I went to Lowe's for a very short time and I just dreaded that. So I started submitting my applications places, and Farm Bureau, I've been working there for 2 years and 9 days. So I'm the office manager there, and that has taught me a lot of relationship development for sure, and just it's taught me a lot of problem solving. It's been a very good experience, and I hope to one day become an agent like Scott, my boss. But that's kind of, I've worked ever since I was 16 years old, and now I'm 22. So I do have a long history, I feel like. Now I know that's not long to a lot of people that have been working for 49 years at the same place, that kind of thing, but whenever I talk to my peers who are the same age as me, I have a lot longer of a job history. So, and that's something that my parents have always instilled in me.
Thank you.
Anything?
No, I really don't have any questions because I've known her since she's been out like
Understood.
that. So, yeah.
Understood. As many people have in town, so. If there's no any further questions, thank you so much for your opportunity
Thank you
to
so
speak
much.
with us.
Thanks,
you.
Raquel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got non-agenda.
Okay, at this time, we will take public comments for non-agenda items. Please limit it to 3 minutes and state your name for the record.
Come on, Norma.
Norma, you were gonna disappoint me. Because I know Dial-A-Ride is doing well, so we'll figure this out.
Okay, you guys can stay up there. Norma Ferris.
We'll do that,
I
Norma.
am a citizen. I would like to see our commission out involved in the city. And please talk to us. We're residents. We would like to hear from you. Okay.
Thank you, Norma.
What did she just ask us?
She
I
wa-
didn't hear it.
She wants you to continue to communicate with her, Dan.
I communicate
And-
with
and to
Norma.
listen.
Yeah,
Regularly.
Yeah,
Yeah, to
regularly.
listen.
Yeah. Dan actually will do a sidebar with you at the end of this if you'd like.
I sure will.
Yeah.
I know you do.
At this time, other fellow commissioners, any other statements, comments?
I just want to
Questions?
publicly say I appreciate the 3 applicants that we had come in tonight. It's a tall task that you're being asked and you're volunteering to do, so thank you for your effort, and I'll seriously consider each of you over this weekend ahead of Monday's meeting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to kind of reiterate what Patrick kind of said. I guess for me, it's a little disheartening because of everything that we've gone through here, you know, in the last month, that, and all the criticism, you know, that this commission and the city has looked at and has faced. We have 3 people who have enough courage to come before this commission and want to try to do the right thing. So to each of you, I want to say thank you because, like I said, and I better do it the correct way instead of the Larry way. You had the nerve to throw your hat in the ring at this time, and for me, I think that's very commendable. I want to thank you for it. I think the city of Buchanan should be thanking you for it because, like I said, everything that's been done and said around here in the last month, we have 3 people who show enough interest to come before this commission and try to apply for this job. So thank you very much. And I want to also welcome this new officer back here because I don't remember your name, but he just graduated from the academy, and so welcome aboard. Thank you.
Mr. Bianski?
I just want to reiterate what Larry just said, and I'm not going to be quite as politically correct. Some of these commissioners, well, you know, Beth, it is what it is. I'll call you out on it. They were expecting 15 to 20, and I didn't have that kind of expectation because I've been down here. I've been through 3 of these, and there's never more. Norma ran for 2 of them that I was involved in, and I appointed the predecessor mayor. So, and I lost to a guy that wasn't even here for the interview. So, I just don't have that high of expectations. And anybody that comes on this, you know, I'm not trying to be, you know, your life will start when you come up here because your expectations are going to be blasted all apart. I guarantee it. But it's not a bad job. It's a good job. It is.
Hey, it's a good job. Thanks, Dan. First and foremost, thanks to everybody who applied. Once again, same thing that everybody else said. It takes a lot of courage to put your name on the line. And in the midst of some controversy that we've seen over the last month or so, and you guys were able to put that behind you and bring forth what you believe to be a good asset to the city. Over the last 6 years, I've seen the good, the bad, and the indifferent. I've seen the best of people, and I've seen the worst of people. But the one thing I can say for certain, and it's reiterated throughout our town continuously, is that the reason that we're all here is because of the people, the town, the school systems. The reason that we believe in this town is because of the people that are here. And as long as we never forget that, even in the midst of disagreements, I will reaffirm what I said the last time. I will have casual discourse with you. I will not lose my temper. Even if you lose yours, I will maintain my composure. Dan and I haven't always agreed, and that's perfectly fine. Just messing with Dan. But Dan has Dan has a lot of great things to say, and sometimes it just doesn't fall in line with everybody else's expectations. So once again, thank you for everybody who showed up this evening. We will see you on Monday night. I look forward to making a decision and put another person up here in the seat. And as Dan said, it's very easy to sit on that side of the table, but I can tell you that sitting on this side is much more difficult, and there's a lot of eyes on you, and you have to mind your P's and Q's and act in accordance with what the expectations of the community are. So, and I will promise to continue to do that for you as long as you will have me. So, with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Slim,
Yes.
Whedon.
Yes.
Your adjourned.
Thank you.
You want to call me sometime
All
tomorrow?
right. Bucks football game tonight.
Yeah, man.
You
Go
going?
Bucks.
You going?
No, I got
Oh, bowling.
for the next
I'd rather talk to you on
8
the phone.
months.
I've let the other 2 know.
Yeah.
Yeah, every Friday.
I'm going
But
for
it's okay. I mean,
Taco
it's
Bell.
worth it. It's a lot of fun.